Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.
How far will athletes go to make it to the top, and what sacrifices will they make in order to reach there? Yan po ang ating tatalakayin sa ating programa sa inyong paboritong kasama tuwing Sabado ng umaga. E di paano? Bango na! Power and play na! Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, mga kapatid, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum, at ng Cherry Tigo 7 Pro, fun to drive. Ako po si Noli Eala at muli po kaming bumabati mula sa ating work from home station. Naku kamusta po kayo lahat dyan sa ating mga tagapakinig sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. And of course, sa lahat po ng mga nakatutok sa 1PH on Signal TV. Thank you also to all those who have been streaming us live sa ating Facebook pages, ang Power and Play with Kom Noli Eala, ang 1PH po, and of course, ang Radyo 5. Marami po tayong tatalakayin ngayong umagang ito, lalong-lalo na ang ating mga elite athletes. Ang ating po mga kasama today ay sila Joshua Pacio, ang natitirang world champion ng Pilipinas sa MMA. Si Joshua Pacio po ang One Championship Strawweight Champion of the World. At mamaya po mga kasama niya ang Team Lakay founder na si Coach Mark Sangiao para po pag-usapan ang malapit ng laban ni Joshua Pacio on September 24. Makakasama din po natin si Dwight Ramos na papunta po ng Japan na para maglaro sa Toyama Grouses. At again, isa na naman siyang Pinoy na sasabak doon po sa Land of the Rising Sun para hanapin ang kanyang kapalaran. And finally, in his very first interview, out after breaking the Asian record and in a rare appearance since the Olympics, makakasama po natin si EJ Obiena, ang ating Pinoy pride na pole vaulter, as he talks about the difference in the way he is playing right now. Yan po ang ating programa ngayong umagang ito, kaya tutok lang po kayo ha. Bagamat tayong lahat ay naka-lockdown pa, we certainly hope that you're all well at kayo po'y makakasama natin from 8 o'clock to 10 today. And of course, pagsisimula lagi ng ating programa, simulan natin sa ating Sports Weekly Highlights. Ni Pinoy pole vaulter EJ Obiena ang linggo sa pagbasag ng Asian record. 5.93 meters ang na-clear ng Pinoy Pride sa 17th Golden Roof Challenge sa Austria. Mas mataas yan ng 1 centimeter sa 23-year-old record ni Igor Potapovich mula Kazakhstan. Siyempre, kasabay ng pagwasak sa Asian record na na-reset din ni EJ ang kanyang personal at ang Philippine record sa pole vault. Makaka one-on-one po natin mamaya si EJ Obiena, kaya huwag niyong palalampasin mamaya-maya lamang. Sa tennis naman, naungusa ni Emma Raducanu ang may dugong Pinoy na si Leila Fernandez sa all-teenager finals ng US Open Women's Singles. Gumawa na kasaysayan ng 18-year-old mula Great Britain sa likod ng 6-4, 6-3 straight sets win. Siya ang unang qualifier na nanalo ng US Open title. At si Raducanu rin ang unang babaeng Briton na nanalo ng Grand Slam title sa loob ng 44 na taon. Sa football naman, nagpakitang gilas agad si Cristiano Ronaldo sa comeback game niya para sa Manchester United. Bumida sa likod ng 2 goals si CR7 para itulak sa 4-1 win ng Red Devils kontra Newcastle United sa Premier League. 8 major titles ang napanalunan ng Portuguese superstar sa Man U mula 2003 hanggang 2009. Target niya ngayon, tulungan ang legendary club na makabalik sa championship status. Kasalukuyang nangunguna sa table ng EPL ang United. Malungkot na balita naman po dahil hindi na makakalaban sa 2021 Davis Cup Asia-Oceania Group 3 ang Pilipinas. Yan ay dahil sa patuloy na suspension penalty ng International Tennis Federation sa Philippine Tennis Association. Nasuspindi ang Philippine Federation dahil sa hindi naaayos na leadership issues na labag sa pamantayan ng ITF. Sa PBA naman, siniguran ng TNT Tropang Giga ang twice-to-beat advantage sa likod ng 102-92 win kontra Northport Batangpier. Number 1 ngayon sa standings ang Tropang Giga na may 9-1 win-loss record. Patuloy din ang pag-step up ng Young Guns ng TNT. Ang rookie combo nila Mikey Williams at Kib Montalvo may combined 51 points sa huli nilang panalo. Ayaw namang magpakampante ni Coach Chot Reyes sa huling laro nila sa regular season kontra Alaska mamayang hapon. Para sa volleyball fans, matagal-tagal na hihintayin po muli bago ang susunod na Premier Volleyball League Conference. Nagdesisyon po kasi ang PVL na wag nang ituloy ang conference sa pagtatapos ng taon. Nagkasundo ang mga team na ipahinga muna ang mga players kasunod ng siksik na Bubble Open Conference. 2 conference naman daw ang mangyayari sa 2022. Pebrero magsisimula ang una at October 2022 ang kasunod. At yan po ang ating mga tinututukan sa ating sports weekly highlights. Of course, marami pa pong balita na gumugulat sa atin. Doon po sa pinag-uusapan ng US Open, bilyar naman ang ating pag-usapan. Yung pong ating mga pambato, si Dennis Orculio, si Johan Chua, ay patuloy pong hindi natatalo, undefeated. At sila po ay pumasok na sa knockout rounds sa US Open Pool Championship na ginaganap sa New Jersey. Kasama po nila dyan si Carlos Biado at saka si Rodrigo Jeronimo. Kaya po ating ipagdasal ang ating mga kababayan dyan naman sa larangan ng bilyar. And of course, nagbalita na rin po ang volleyball ng Philippine National Volleyball Federation. Nagagawa sila ng bagong liga, yung Champions League. Kaya maganda na naman itong opportunity para sa ating mga volleyballs. Ika nga at makikita natin kung saan patutungo ito pong gagawing PNVF Champions League. Alright. Pinag-uusapan natin ang mga liga. Well, kagaya na nabalita po natin kanina, si Dwight Ramos ang ikawalong manlalaro na papunta na po ng Japan B.League. Siya po ay kasama ng Leanio brothers, si 30 at si Kiefer Ravena, yung magkapatid pong mga Ravena, si Kobe Paras, si Ray Parks at si Ken Mark Carino. Pangwalo na si Dwight Ramos ang ace point guard or rather guard ng Gilas Pilipinas at of course nanggaling din sa Ateneo Blue Eagles. So, ngayon pong araw na to sa ating pulso ng bayan, gusto po nating pulsuhan yung development na yan. Sa tingin nyo ba, mga kapatid, sa ating pong pulso ng bayan, sa tingin nyo ba, sa mga Pinoy basketball players na mga nalalabing, sino po ang may potential na sumunod pa sa Japan B.League? Ulitin po natin sino sa mga Pinoy basketball players ang may potential pang sumunod sa Japan B.League? Kung gusto niyo pong makisama sa ating talakayan, mag-text lamang sa ating hotline 0908-208-0629 o di kaya ay mag-comment sa ating Facebook page, Power and Play, o sa Facebook page ng 1PH o ng Signal TV. Ulitin ko ulit, sino sa mga Pinoy basketball players, kahit po nasa sa PBA, wala sa PBA, nasa collegiate, UAAP, NCAA, MPBL, lahat po ng mga liga sa ating bansa. Sino sa tingin nyo may potential na makasunod pa sa Japan B.League? Talaga naman ho sa dami ng koponan dyan sa B.League. Mahigit 4 na po ang teams po sa Japan from Division 1 to Division 3. Kaya po napakaraming pwesto nang binuksan po ng Japan ang kanilang Asian import quota. Kaya po ngayon, ang bawat isang koponan ay may kakayanang kumuha ng isang manlalaro. Aside from that, nagbukas na rin ang Korean Basketball League at of course yung National Basketball League ng Australia. Kaya po napakarami niyan, yung mga ligang yan. At hindi malayong maubos yung mga blue chip rookies natin na bago po sila ay sumabak sa PBA ay maglaro muna sa labas. Alright, tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa Power and Play and of course, ang ating pong isusunod, ang ating paboritong segment dito po sa Power and Play. Walang iba kung hindi ang Fast Take. Fast Take po ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo. Cherry Tigo 7 Pro, fun to drive. Alright, at ngayon pong araw na to, maswerte tayong makakasama muli ang mga suki natin sa Fast Take. Ito po sanay na dito at marami talagang mga opinyon. Ang ating po mga kasama, dito po sa portion kung saan ang opinion po ng ating mga kapatid sa hanap buhay ang mahalaga. Ang ating pong kasama ngayon ay walang iba kundi si Philip Mattel ng ESPN.com at si Randolph Leongson ng spin.ph. Magandang umaga, gentlemen. Philip at Dolph, it's good to see you again.
Good morning, Kom Noli. Good morning, Kuya Dolph.
Parang pare-pareho tayo nakapagpagupit Parang ang dating Kasi kabubukas lamang ng ating mga areas Kaya sabi ko kahapon, abay nagbukas na. 10% lang mga kapatid. Hindi pwedeng marami sa loob ng isang barberya. Sabi ko, sapak na agad sa gunting at pagpagupit na tayo. Magmukha naman tayong tao. Thank you for joining us, Philip and Randolph. Before we get to the fast take issues, I want to ask you about something. Unahin ko muna, siguro ikaw, Philip, nabalita kanina, binalita ko yung tungkol sa FILTA, yung issue ng FILTA na kung saan suspendido tayo at tuloy hindi tayo makasali sa Davis Cup. Grabe itong pangyayaring ito because matagal na hindi lang naman to ngayon I think mga 1 o 2 taon na to. Ano ba ang impact nito sa tingin mo, Philip? At ano bang ginagawa ng FILTA dito?
Malaking impact ito sa sport natin, Kom Noli, dahil kung wala tayong lalaro ang competition, paano na ang pangarap ng mga atleta natin na makapag-represent sa ating bansa? Sa tingin ko ay dapat ng maayos ng FILTA ang mga issues na kinakaharap nila upang makabalik na tayo sa Group 2 ng Davis Cup. Dahil ang huling laro natin ay nung 2019 pa, yung linggo bago mag-pandemic. Sana naman ay yun nga, maayos at para patuloy pa rin tayong makapagbigay karangal sa ating bansa through tennis kasi maraming mga players natin ang magaling naman sa tennis at yun nga ay makapagbigay pa ng karangalan.
Parang natitenga yung ating mga players. Marami na tayong naririnig ng mga tennis players na nagre-reklamo and ang malungkot dito parang hindi gumagalaw at sabi mo nga Philip, 2 taon na pala to, 2019 So talagang malaking problema at sana maayos ang gusot. We were trying to get FILTA today pero sabi nila baka daw sa susunod na linggo ay makapag-usap kami para makita natin kung ano ang pwedeng gawin. Randolph, I know na malapit na tayo magtapos sa PBA but there's one particular, meron tayong fast take issue dyan, pero merong isang particular na punto akong gustong tukuyin dito. Itong Blackwater bossing na meron silang record of futility. An ignominious, infamous record na ngayon ay meron silang sunod-sunod na 18 talo. Sus Mariosep. Tandaan natin, Randolph, ito ang team na unang-una tinraid si Mac Bello para kay Passer Amer. Pangalawa, itinraid nila yung nakuha nilang number 4 pick na dapat ay ang naging si Mikey Williams at itinrade nila yan sa talk and text. Dahil dyan, lagapak itong team na to at nasa ilalim 18 sanod na talo. Ang tanong ko sa iyo ano ba dapat gawin dito ng PBA? At siguro ano mga leksyon na natutunan dito para alam mo, hindi maganda itong nangyari ito dahil mukhang walang balance sa liga
Ako naniniwala ako na yung Blackwater. Actually, ang irony kasi kung kailan nagkaroon ng season na pinalitan nila yung pangalan nila as bossing, mas naging nagapak yung naging kampanya nila. But tinitingnan ko kasi yung lineup nila on paper, kung tutuusin, hindi dapat Kasi isipin mo, ang dami nilang players na kung tutuusin, contributors naman nung time na nasa UAAP sila Ed Akiwag, sila Mike Colomia, si Simon Enciso. Alam naman natin, magaling naman yan But I think it matters na demoralize na lang din siguro na hindi ko masabi. I agree with yung sinasabi ni Coaching na Blackwater should have been better. Hindi pinapakita nung record nila na 0 of 10 sila ngayon na may chance pang maging 0-11. Hindi malayo na mangyari yun at talagang maset nga nila yung worst losing streak in PBA history. I think it starts from the management sila Boss Josel Lucina. Parang they really have to straighten up their team kasi the PBA can only do so much. And syempre, we try to regulate as much as possible. Pero nasa team pa rin yan Kung gugustuhin ng players, kung gugustuhin ng coaches, kung gugustuhin ng management, nasa kanila na yan. But yun lang din kasi yung mahirap na nakikita natin na meron ng mga sabi mo imbalance trade yun, makikita mo, pero bakit yung Terra Firma nananalo, nakakuha ng upset, pero yung Blackwater hindi. So again, it starts with the Blackwater franchise if they really want. Kasi tinitingnan ko talaga yung team ngayon, parang pagpasok pa lang nila, demoralize or lalaban sila hanggang first half, tapos bumibitaw ng second half. So nasa players, nasa coaches, nasa team ho talaga yung pagsisimula ng pagbabago kung gusto yung Blackwater.
Actually, tama ka dyan. Bagamat makikita natin, marami nag-question dyan sa mga trade na ginawa nila. At the end of the day, basketball pa rin yan. 5-5 ang labanan. At sabi mo nga, may mga pangalan naman yung mga player na yan. Although, alam naman natin ang realidad ng basketball lalo na sa professional play. Siyempre, gutom din yung mga player na yan. Pag hindi mo pinakain, medyo malamya talaga ang paglalaro. So again, it goes back to management. I hate to say it, but it also, I guess, goes back to coaching. Kaibigan natin si Coach Nash Racela, and we certainly respect him. We've had him on the show, and he was very upbeat about his team, pero siguro kailangan ng bagong sistema dyan. At sayang kasi at the end of the day, masakit panoorin pag ganyan ang mga laban na alam mo, hindi na mananalo yung koponan. Bossing pa man din ang pangalan. Alright, let's go to our fast take issues of the morning. Alam niyo ang gagawin na dito, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, wag magagalit. Ang opinion niyo ang mahalaga, walang tama, walang mali. Philip, Randolph, here we go. Ang ating unang issue of the morning, ito medyo sensitive ito. Nagkaroon ng parang mga viral na nag-viral ang mga screenshots online ng umano'y transaksyon ng isang PBA player sa umano'y game fixing. Although ito hindi sa 5-on-5 version, ito ay nasa mga naka-line up outside of the regular team. Matindi itong allegation na to. At of course, itinanggi na to ng naturang player, pero ito'y naisulat na at nakarating na sa mga fans. Ang tanong, dapat pa bang imbestigahan ng PBA at ng team na involved dito sa alleged game fixing, o dapat bang pagbabayaan na lang to at baka ay magkaroon pa ng negative impact ito sa liga? I will begin with you, Philip. You have 1 minute. Go!
Sa tingin ko, Kom Noli, dapat lang imbestigahan ito dahil ito ay nakakasama sa imahe ng liga. Matinding panlilibak na ang nakukuha ng PBA sa social media dahil sa iba't ibang mga bagay. Ang ganitong uri ay ng issue ang pinakamasama sa aking opinion dahil ito ay umaatake sa integridad ng laro. Sinong tao ang gustong manood ng liga kung ang perception nito ay scripted dahil ayon sa chismis ay ilan sa mga player nito ay bentador. internal investigation na lang sa tingin ko ang mangyayari dito at good luck sa player na ito dahil baka dito ay magwakas na ang isang career na hindi pa nag-uumpisa. Kung ako ang team na ito, medyo malaking investigasyon ito dahil marami siyang tao na nabanggit na manlalaro sa usaping biyahe. Talaga bang may involvement ang tao na ito o unfair ba ang pagkakadamay sa kanila? Isa itong matinding akusasyon kaya dapat itong siyasating mabuti ng team at ng PBA.
Well said, Philip. Talagang maganda yung pagkaka-research mo. Alam naman natin, hindi yan unang beses na nagkaroon ng ganyang klaseng mga aligasyon sa hindi lamang sa PBA, in sports. No? Huwag na natin tutukan ng PBA lamang, but in sports. But of course, ang PBA ang premier sports league dito sa ating bansa, kaya malaking bagay ito. Randolph, same issue. Dapat pa bang imbestigahan ng PBA at ng naturang koponan ang issue o mas makakasama lang ba ito kung huhukayin pa, considering na tila ang ebidensya naman ay hindi pa masyadong solido? I'll begin with, you have 1 minute, Randolph. Go!
Kom, naniniwala ako na when there's smoke, there's fire. Hindi naman sa sinasabi natin na kung ano man yung aligasyon, tinitingnan natin na guilty na yung partido na nabanggit natin. Kaya nga tayo may due process, di ba? Malinaw naman sa atin yan. Being said that, kailangan pa rin tingnan ng PBA at ng koponan. Nabanggit na nga natin, San Miguel Beer, yung sinasabi ng mga ganyan. Kasi mahirap eh. Mahirap pag sabi nga ni Philip, integridad na ng liga yung naatake, yung core mismo. Essence naman ng liga natin is competition, and when issues like that arise, nakita naman natin kung gaano siya naka-apekto dun sa reputasyon ng MPPL, ng BISMI o ng iba pang mga ligang nasangkot dyan, hindi talaga maganda eh. So, kumbaga, may katotohanan man o wala, kumbaga, meron ng ganyang ebidensya at kailangan na talaga siyang tignan para makasana natin bago sa kumalat pa ng lalo at makasira pa lalo.
I like that point na sinabi mo, Randolph, tungkol sa nangyaring insidente sa MPBL na pinasabog at napakaraming PBA player ang nag-react dyan doon sa insidenteng yon. Ito ngayon na meron nangyaring ganito, tahimik. Minsan, alam mo, hindi tayo pwedeng double standard sa isang liga. Hindi natin sinasabing merong ganyan sa PBA. Ang sinasabi lamang natin, hindi pwedeng tinatawag nila sa English na to be swept under the rug. Dahil ito po ay isang bagay na nakakasira sa hindi lamang sa imahe, kung hindi sa kumpiyansa ng tao sa isang liga. Napakamahalaga na alam natin na ang mga laro sa PBA ay meron pong integrity at sigurado pong talagang tunay na tunay ang paglalaban dyan sa loob ng PBA. Kaya tama kayo, no? Hindi natin sinasabing merong nangyayaring ganyan. Hindi rin natin sinasabing guilty ang mga taong nabanggit. Ang ating sinasabi, tingnan man lang ninyo at hindi pwede itong basta na lamang baliwalain. Alright, let's go to our second fast take of the morning. Ito, PBA pa rin at medyo maganda naman. Dahil sabi ko nga kanina, patapos na ang ating elimination round. At medyo may mga teams na tila pasok na, no? Pero may mga teams na tila naghahabol pa, lalong-lalo na yung Alaska na 3 sunod ang laro na gagawin just like para lang makahabol dito sa kanilang schedule. So ang tanong, ano-anong teams sa tingin ninyo ang papasok at malalaglag naman sa playoffs ng Philippine Cup? I will begin with you, Randolph. You have 1 minute. Go!
Kung sa tinitingnan ko kanina yung team standings, I think may 4 na tayong nag-qualify. May 4 na tayong sigurado, yung TNT nga, sigurado na tayong top seed eh. But sa nakikita ko ngayon, as much as madugo yung nagiging schedule ng Alaska dahil nga kailangan nilang mag-adjust, I think makakapasok sila. Nakakagulat man tingnan, pero yung Ginebra na defending champions at sinasabi ng marami overwhelming favorites, naghihingalo eh. And do or die game, kumbaga, yung magiging estado nila doon sa NLEX, sa Meralco game. So, ako, base sa standings, I can sense na pwede tayo magkaroon ng do or die game, and I will be very elated in a way to see na NLEX and Ginebra yung maglalaban
Wow.
doon sa number 8 spot na yun. I think Northport can do enough, especially after nung nangyari sa last game. So, yun yung prediction ko.
Wow, magandang, medyo mabigat yan ha. Playoff ng NLEX at saka ng Ginebra. Naku, talaga maraming iiyak pagka nangyari yan. Alright, Philip, same question. Sino sa tingin mo ang makakapasok as we go to the final few games ng elimination round at malalaglag bago tayo pumasok sa playoffs? You have 1 minute, Philip. Go!
Ayun nga, Kom Noli, as of yesterday, pasok na ang 5 teams sa playoffs. TNT, Meralco, Magnolia, San Miguel, Rainier, Shine. Bale, 6 pa ang naglalaban para sa 3 remaining spots, NLEX, Northport, Alaska, Ginebra, Phoenix at Terra Firma. Pero pasensya na sa Terra Firma, Phoenix at Northport dahil sa tingin ko ay hindi sila papasok sa playoffs. Hindi maging maganda ang laro ng Fuel Masters this season dahil nawala nga si Calvin Abueva. Kung quotient system din ang pagbabasihan, hindi rin maganda ang naging quotient ng Phoenix dahil tinambakan sila ng 30 points kahapon. Wala rin na rin sa control nila ang kanilang destiny dahil hihintayin pa nila ang resulta ng mga natitilang laro. Medyo malabo na rin makapasok ang may 4-7 record sa playoffs. Ganyan din ang magiging problema ng 2 team na nabanggit ko pa. Sayang mga naging pagkatalo nila kasi maraming dikit na makakapagbigay pa ng mga panalo or mag-swing sa kanila. May next time pa naman and more than likely baka mas maganda pa na makakuha pa sila ng mas maraming top draft pick next year.
Well, sana nga at para naman sabi natin, mabalanse ng konti yan. Ako, I think ang magic number is 5 wins eh. Tila yun yata ang hinahabol ng mga koponan. And when you look at that, sa tingin ko yung NLEX, maaaring pumasok na yan. Ako, ang feeling ko, at the end of the day, ang Ginebra, talagang, sabi nga, si Team Cone yan eh. And we will not expect anything less na makapasok sila. Although, mabigat ang huli na laban sa Meralco. So I think it will boil down to that final game, Northport laban sa Alaska, kung saan yung pang-5 panalo. Because I think Alaska will get to that level na 4 na panalo eh. Yung Terra Firma, malamang talunin nila yan. Pero yung laban ng Northport, Alaska, sa tingin ko, dyan magkakaalaman kung talagang sino ang papasok. Although, delikado pa rin ang Barangay Ginebra dahil alam naman natin, kontrapelo ang Meralco pagdating sa Barangay Ginebra. All right, let's go to our final take of the morning. Gentlemen, ito medyo ibang topic ito. Naglabas ng isang balita si POC President na mukhang hindi daw napondohan ng Department of Budget and Management ang 4 na international tournaments na sasalihan ng Team Philippines sa 2022. Kasama na dyan ang Winter Olympics, ang Asian Games, ang Asian Youth Games at yung Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Game. Pero sabi ni POC President Bumble Tolentino, na kongresista, siya daw ay nangako daw mga legislation na nagkakaroon ng legislation na magkakaroon ng budget. So ang tanong, gaano critical sa Philippine sports kapag hindi nabigyan ng funding para sa mga international tournaments na yan, itong pangyayaring ito? I will begin with you, Philip. 1 minute. Go!
Nako, isang napakalaking problema nito para sa Philippine sports dahil nakasalalay dito ang success ng ating mga atleta sa 4 na competition na yan. Kaya nga naging maganda ang performance ng Team Philippines sa 2019 SEA Games at 2020 Tokyo Olympics dahil daan-daang milyong piso ang ibinuhos para sa training ng mga atleta natin. Hindi naman uusad ang mga atleta kung walang panggasto sa training. Hindi magandang practice na mag-e-expect ang ating mga kababayan na maging successful ang ating mga atleta kung wala silang makuhang investment mula sa ating gobyerno. Andyan nga ang private sector pero sapat ba ang perang malilikom nila mula dito? Maganda na ang naipakita ng mga atleta natin at sana magawan ito ng paraan ng ating mga sports-minded na lawmakers sa Kongreso ukol para naman maiparamdam natin na sinusuportahan ng bansa ang mga atletang nagpupunyagi para magbigay karangalan para dito.
Very, very well said again, Philip. Maganda yan, maganda mga punto mo. At talaga namang napaka-critical ng budget sa kahit anong programa, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa sports. Randolph, same issue. Gaano ka-critical kung hindi mabibigyan ng budget ang ating mga atleta, mga NSA para sa para sa mga international competitions ng Team Pilipinas. 1 minute, Randolph. Go!
You hate to see it eh. You hate to hear it na kumbaga yung mga polisiya na ganyan makaka-apekto at makaka-dampen. Especially yung momentum na nabuo natin from 2020 Tokyo Olympics eh. Kumbaga dapat makita na natin, mapag-aralan natin kung ano yung nangyari before eh. Na-derail na nga yung momentum natin from the 2019 SEA Games dahil sa pandemic. Tapos after ng Tokyo Olympics, ganito pa yung mangyayari sa atin. Ang magandang bagay na lang din siguro kung merong mga allies ng Philippine sports sa Kongreso tulad ni Kong Bambol, ni Kong Mikey Romero, ni Kong Eric Martinez na kumbaga patuloy na sina-champion yung cause ng ating mga atleta. Pero kumbaga napaka-vital ng magiging role kasi ng tulong ng gobyerno na kasi nakita natin kung paano nagwagi si Heidi Lim. Yung blueprint na lang na yun yung kailangan natin sundin. May ample support from the government and ample support from private sector. Yun yung magtutulong sa atin kung gugustuhin talaga natin na maging competitive sa national scene.
Well, tama ka, Randolph. Walang kaduda-duda. And I'll make it very, very brief. Walang kaduda-duda na pag hindi nyo pinondohan yan, tapos na naman ang ating mga atleta. No ifs and no buts. Dapat bigyan ng pondo. Lalong-lalo na para sa mga international competitions na napakalaki, yung Asian Games, yung Southeast Asian Games at marami pang iba. But at the end of the day, I think dapat itong problemang ito ay masolusyonan. Ang long-term solution, gawin na talagang department ang sports. Dahil pag naging departamento ang sports, laging kasama na yan sa GAA, sa General Appropriations Act. Kung sa kaduluduluhan, private sector na naman na magpopondo, kahiya-hiya naman ang ating pamahalaan. Pero, hindi na rin masama kung ang magpopondo ay ang Pharmally. Siguro, yung kanilang tinanggap dyan, magbigay na lang sila. Maraming salamat, Philip and Randolph, sa inyong panahon na binigay sa atin ngayon sa Power and Play. Mabuhay kayo at mag-ingat kayo.
Maraming salamat po. Magandang umaga po.
Maraming salamat po, Kom. Good morning po.
Good morning. Yan po mga kaibigan ng ating mga kaibigan, si Philip Mattel ng ESPN.com at si Randolph Leongson ng Spin.ph. Talagang maganda magsimula ng medyo may konting biro na may kiliti at merong kurot. Alright, bago po tayo magpatuloy, isa lamang paalala mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Gigalife App is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Gigalife app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. Thank you so much to Smart. Power and Play is powered by Smart. And we will take a break. At the other end of this commercial break, when we come back, kasama po natin ang ating pinagmamalaking Olympian, EJ Obiena, dito po sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart ako.
Maayong buntag sa ating pong mga kasama sa Cebu City. Magandang umaga naman po sa ating mga kaibigan sa Batangas. Sana po kayo po'y lahat nasa mabuting kalagayan. Alright, hindi po araw-araw na nababasag ang isang record sa track and field. Lalong-lalo na kung ito ay mga record na matagal nang naitatag. Pero ang ating pong kasama, ang ating pong pinagmamalaking si EJ Obiena, broke 2 records in a span of 2 weeks. This coming off a very disappointing and painful setback sa Olympiada. Nakasama po natin si EJ Obiena in an exclusive interview para sa Power and Play a few nights ago. Ito po ang ating puntahan. Ernest John Obiena, ang ating Olympian na pole vaulter, and we're very honored na for the first time on cam, on Philippine television, makakausap po natin walang iba kung hindi ang ating Asian record holder ngayon ng pole vault, walang iba kundi si EJ Obiena. Magandang araw, EJ.
Magandang araw po, sir. Long time no see. Magandang araw po, sir. Long time no see po.
Santi, ilagay mo na kami ng 2-shot. Medyo nagkaroon lang po tayo ng konting technical issue. Let's bring back that interview. Mukhang medyo naipit yung ating tape. Let's bring back the interview kasama ni EJ Obiena. Ulitin natin. 3, 2, 1. Magandang araw, EJ. It's good to have you on the show. Suki ka namin dito sa Power Play, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk to you.
Long time no see po. And thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here po.
Naku, talagang long time no see. Miss ka namin. We've been wanting to get you on the show. Ako'y natutuwa na binigyan mo kami ng rare opportunity to really have you on the show. I know you're very busy. Sinabi sa amin yan ng Team Obiena. And that's why, it's just great to have you here today. First of all, EJ, congratulations are in order. Meron paboritong kanta yung aking tatay na what a difference a day makes. Say, in your case, what a difference a month makes. From barely a month after the Olympics, lahat nitong successes na nakukuha mo, you have broken your own Philippine record, and now you have broken the Asian record. Tell me, how important are these unprecedented heights for you coming off your Olympic experience?
I think it's important for me. I wouldn't say if it's as important for everyone else. I think at least when it comes to this point, it's really important for me, especially after what happened in Tokyo. I just needed to have, have some kind of sign and that I am actually capable, that I'm actually okay, I'm actually good. I'm actually able to do all of this, what I've been set out to do. But because I was a bit down. Let's just not make it. I was down after Tokyo, questioning like what happened. Why was I not performing as well as I should have? And I believe I could have, and that haunts me, And I need to make sure that I can actually pull this off, and I want to have some sense of accomplishment with this season, because I mean the biggest competition was Tokyo, and it wasn't it wasn't pleasant. Uh, Therefore, I really needed this badly, and I really wanted to do it. I really knew I can do it, but there's some doubts, of course, especially after what happened in Tokyo. There, you ask yourself sometimes, like, am I actually able to do what I set out to do? Yeah, that's why this means a lot to me. I think more than anyone else, it means a lot to me.
In the last maybe 2 3 weeks, as I mentioned, no, you broke the Philippine record. You entered the top 5 ranking in the world sa pole vaulting, and of course, you broke a 20-plus-year-old Asian record, establishing the Asian record at 5.93 in Austria. How much of the pain, EJ, and disappointment of Tokyo went into your effort here, to get to this level now?
I think it wasn't the pain. Of course, it was painful to not be able to deliver. It was the doubts that's what's haunting me more. I think that's what's giving me all of this questions in my head, lingering around on like what happened, what exactly happened on that day where I was supposed to be able to perform and bring my best, bring my A game on that day, and wasn't able to. And those things, as an athlete, that haunts you a little bit, and that questions or your ability to compete, your ability to perform, and that took a lot for me. I wasn't myself, I would say. After that, I was really, it's like even on my daily life, it affected me. I was doubting myself in the smallest things, and I'm like, okay, this is just not right. I needed to try. I needed to have this, to assert to myself and prove it to myself that I'm actually that was a fluke. What happened there, that was a fluke. That wasn't me. That wasn't who I am. That's not what I've been working for. That's something that happened, unfortunately, on a very important day. I accept that now. Now I can live with it. I think that was what really drove me to be able to just muster whatever I mustered this past couple of weeks.
Would you say, after itong mga nagawa mo in the past few weeks, would you say you're fully recovered from the, let's call it, a disappointment in Tokyo?
Let's just say I'm not fully recovered. Of course, it's always stinks. Looking back to that day, it stings. Of course, I set out to do something historic, something I do believe, and what this past couple of weeks showed I'm capable of doing.
Absolutely.
It stinks, but I can say I can look forward. I can move forward, and still believing in myself that I'm actually able to perform and compete. So I wouldn't say I'm recovered. I would say I have moved on. I could have, of course, looking back at that, of course, it stinks a little bit. It makes you, feel something inside of you. But now I can honestly say I'm happy. I know I have a good future moving forward to this sport, and I think that's something that I really needed badly after that, as you said, fluke. It comes to Tokyo.
Sabi nga nila, what doesn't kill you just makes you better. And obviously, yung experience mo sa Tokyo is not something that was, a matter of life and death, because you are young and you will have another shot. Let me ask you, itong recovery na to, itong moving on rather, as you mentioned it, who helped you the most? Who supported you here in this process as you went through itong difficult moments mo right after that Olympics?
This one, I would say it's a lot about me, but at the same time, I think my team, asked me the right questions right after Tokyo. I was disappointed. I was down, but my coach asked me these questions that made me think. That made me, I believe a good coach wouldn't just say, yeah, just brush it off and go forward. that's what a good coach, but the great coach would say to you things that you need to hear, even if you don't want to hear it. So he told me a bunch of things that made me think, that made me, it lingers in my head and made me realize what I actually want to do and what moving forward, like bouncing back, let's just say after this devastating situation for me. So it's my team. It's not a single person. It's really a group of entity, this people that actually just cares for me, not just as an athlete, just as an individual person. Then they throw me these questions, they throw me these encouragement, they throw me all of this information that I might not or might not like it at that time, or maybe I do or whatnot, but they believe that this is the best for me. And I think that's why I trust my team to tell me those things. But who helped me, you know, I would say this is one of, I can say it's me. I kind of needed to dug myself out, which I believe that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be better. That's what it takes for me to grow. And I think my coach did that. So he gave me the equipment to do it. Of course, he was there with me all throughout of it, but he didn't, you know, he didn't carry me like a toddler and it's like, I'll bring you here to where you should be. No, he made me want to know deep inside what I need to, where I want to go, what do I want to do, what, you know, be able to commit to it 100%. It takes you yourself, just you yourself actually wanting it.
Well, EJ, let's talk a little bit about your performance. No, what is the difference? Obviously, now you are vaulting very well. You reached heights that you were not able to get in the Olympics. Of course, nung nag-usap tayo dati, sabi mo, ang daming factors with respect to competition. It's not only really just the height. There are so many other things that come along with it. But what do you think is the difference now that you have broken the Asian record and you are competing very well? The difference now from your Olympic performance from a technical standpoint first and maybe from a mental standpoint?
I mean, this is a pretty straightforward, kind of dumb answer. I got used to my equipment. If you remember, we were talking a few months before Tokyo. I said, I don't have my post. I don't have a complete set of posts that I've been requesting Sir Popoy since February of 2021. So, I don't want to think about that during the time. Of course, I don't want to be saying, oh, I wasn't used to it. It's an equipment. I need to take that as not as a hit to my confidence. It's an equipment. I'll use it as how it should be. But I guess I was wrong. It played a factor. The post that was sent to Tokyo by Mr. Capistrano, that was the pole I used to jump 91. That was the pole I used to jump 93. It was the pole I jump a couple of 80s this season. This let's just say post Tokyo out the season. So technique wise, I would say that's it. Mentally, maybe I was a little bit hungrier, but it's difficult to say. I really wanted Tokyo. I was really hungry there. It wasn't a question if I wanted that. I really do. If I can just go back to that time and actually do it, I'll redo it. So I really want that. So mentally, I believe it was just a different kind of approach, but at the same time, it was just, I got used to the equipment and it took me longer than I think. It was it's a loss that I just need to take right now. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
As you said, you've moved on from this, and it's just good to understand exactly what went wrong and what is the difference. But
Exactly.
we know, and I've talked to Kaloy Yulo about it, and he said that iba talaga performing in the Olympics, and many other Olympians have mentioned that the pressure in the Olympics is another kind of level. Would you agree? Do you believe that there is a different kind of pressure performing or competing in the Olympiad rather than in a non-Olympiad event?
I mean, of course, it's the biggest sporting event of anyone's career, especially for track and field athletes. You know, that's the biggest platform that you will ever step on. Of course, there's pressure into that, but then again, you know, us athletes, we go in and out this competition with multiple different kind of pressures. You know, it's like in basketball, you can shoot 100 free throws going to the end of the line. That free throw feels different, but even those moments that, let's just say, replicated, you're shooting a clutch shot in the last few moments of the game. Those shots that you took, that's all different as well. So it is indeed different, but at the same time, I believe it's just a matter of getting into it with your mindset, just setting that, you know, I'm able to do it. It's all that I think different. Like that's what set those champions that pull it off in the clutch moments and those champions in the small tournaments. But at the same time, it's just a matter of you pulling it out on that day that you need to, and that's what I think I was able to prove. I jumped 93 on the last attempt. If I didn't, you know, gone were the shots, you know, and the same with the 91. I know I needed to make it on the first one. If I don't make it the first one, I'm going to be fourth place. I'm going to miss on the podium. I said, I need to throw it down right now. And I was able to, you know, that's what I needed. That's what I really badly needed, because I had this doubt that when it comes to, I need to throw it down, I need to show, I need to stand up, I need to be able to perform. I wasn't, and that was Tokyo. That took a big toll on my confidence.
You know, EJ, I've been following your IG posts, and you've been very candid and very vivid in your description of your feelings. Immediately after the Olympics, of course, you said that you did not go to the Olympics just to compete, just to experience the Olympics. You were there to win. And of course, after that, you had several posts as well that really sort of revealed the mental pressure that you are going through and that you have gone through. Do you think that you're putting too much pressure on yourself?
Not really, because you know, I took this responsibility as I wanted to. You know, this is something that I wasn't like drop in that position and, you know, take this role. No, I wanted this, and this comes, everything that's part of it comes with it. You know, it's the good and bad, the pressure. It's something I need to live by and accept. And I don't think that I don't like pressure. I think that's where you either make or break, and it's always those moments that gives you this sense of adrenaline. It's the one that you will always remember. Qualification in Olympics, last attempt. You know, that's a huge. um, Actually, speaking of that pressure, I was talking with Sam Kendricks just a few days ago, maybe. So it was like sometimes he was telling me, like, you know, sometimes you put yourself in a position that you need to be clutch, but you don't actually need to. I was just like, you know, man, I don't want that, but it's part of the game, you know. If that's what's gonna make me jump, I'm gonna put myself into that.
Yeah, you know, when you tell us about these stories about, you know, your conversations with some of the elite pole vaulters in the world, you know, it's fascinating. How is your relationship with all of them? Have you become? Is this a community that's really become very, very close?
Yeah, I mean, I see them more than my family, or you know, I see them, to be honest, more than my girlfriend even. You know, we travel in circuit, you know, we compete with each other, so always nice. You know, they always. If you saw when I was jumping in Paris, the one who was checking my marks was actually Sam Kendricks, who was helping me out. You know, he was helping me out, check my mid, and helping me out. He was explaining some things. You know, the way he sees the pole vault thing, it's different the way I see it, but we understand it. You know, it's like we
Right.
speak kind of the same language of it.
Right.
But then, in each other competitions. In Innsbruck, I had Matt Ludwig, the guy who flew like 48 hours before the qualification to Tokyo as a replacement. Yeah, he was helping me out as well. I was helping him out.
Wow.
It's
Yes.
it's a community that I'm very happy to be part of. I
Yeah.
think pole vaulting right now is in a very, very high level
Yeah.
compared to
And
the other events of track.
it has really come down to the masses. I mean, to the people. It's a very commercially available sport. People watch it. I saw the one in Austria. It was
Yeah.
like a mall or a street. I don't know where you were, but it looked like there were shops all around and there were people all around. And ibang-iba na from the time that we could only watch this in the track ovals, diba? Ibang-iba na. They've really
True.
made this spectator friendly event. Now, let me ask you. You barged into the top 5 in the world, and only 4 other people are in front of you. The world and Olympic champion Mondo Duplantis. Of course, there is Chris Nielsen, the silver medalist, and then of course there is Sam Kendricks, who could have been one of the top performers in Tokyo, but he missed out. And of course there is the former champion Renaud Lavillenie. And then there is you. How high is the bar that you're setting for yourself now that you've reached this level, EJ?
It's the same. I've always said to you, I compete, I step on the track, I try to win. And, the ranking just shows that, if you perform at the level in the big competitions, you increase that's just how do you say, it's not something that tells you who you are. That's something that reflects what you have done. So I'm not really setting anything different. It's the same mindset I have since 2018. It's the same goal. It's the same approach. It's the same bar that I need to make. I need to keep pushing higher.
Do you get intimidated at all with any of these people that are in front of you, particularly Armand Duplantis? I mean, you've told me before that this guy is unbelievable. I mean, he's almost untouchable, and he almost always jumps over 6 meters. Is that even a factor that you think about, or wala na, hindi ka na-intimidate kahit na kanina?
I wouldn't say intimidated. I'm somehow fascinated in the way he jumps. It's like, how can this guy jump so consistently at such a high level? That's how I see it. Not really like, oh, I go in the meet, oh, Mondo is here, oh, I'm just gonna take second now. Then it's never like that. I'm never intimidated. I would say I'm amazed. I'm amused. Sometimes I just laugh when I see him jump 6 meters. Just like, this guy, how can you jump 6 meters back to back? But you understand that he has probably more, let's just say, more experience when it comes to pole vaulting than me, considering that I adjusted my technique back in 2014. It's only been like 6-7 years, and he has been doing pole vaulting since he was like 4 years old, with the same school, the same methods, same how do you say, school of thought up until now. So that's like second nature to him. It's something close, as natural as it gets for him. And for me, I'm still getting used to it. I'm still trying to get into that.
Now, a lot of people are, of course, very interested about moving on, your plans. EJ, what are the next competitions that you will be joining in the series in Europe? Are you still going to be competing in several more?
I needed to kind of cut short my outdoor. I had supposed to be in 2 continental tours, but at the moment, so I submitted the budget a little bit late. I think I submitted it like 27 or 26th of August. No, maybe 25th of August to my federation, Patafa, because my funding was only until August, which is clearly was the Tokyo Olympics. It was until that month. So anything after that is kind of mixed, so I shoulder some of it, and I asked some help to kind of muster that up. I already had a call with PSC, and they're working on it, because I already sent my proposal for my budget. So for competitions, I'm done. That's why I needed to do Innsbruck, then Berlin. even if it's like back-to-back days,
Yeah.
just to get as much points as I can. Then after that, needed to let that go because Kenya and Nairobi is not that close, and Zagreb is not that close too. So you need a flight and this and that.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So,
this and that.
in other words, at this point, you are taking a break from competitions, and because of the distance of the places where the next competitions will be. EJ, pero pagdating sa 2022, we know that there will be the Southeast Asian Games and there will be the Asian Games. Are you competing for the Philippines? Have you committed to those international meets for us?
I mean, I want to. First, I believe I need to be selected. I hope that they would back me up. I hope my federation would hopefully now understand that this team group of people that I have are capable of doing something that we set out to do. So hopefully they would endorse me. They would keep me in the team with my psychologist, which is Cheryl. This two physios that I have, Antonio Vieta and Francesco Viscusi. My coach, who Vitaly Petrov. Hopefully, finally, we can get some blessing that we're gonna set out to do this. I haven't really heard much if we're gonna be. I just know that I'm aiming for the World Indoor first. That's the first major championship I have on my head, on my calendar. But it would need to be coming from my federation anyway. Else, but of course, I would want to. That's the championship that I want to compete at.
Well, with the way you've been performing, with the standards that you've been setting, it will be a shame if they don't support your bid for all of these international competitions. You received recently 1.5 million. Well, you have been awarded, and I think it's being cleared now by the Philippine Sports Commission, 1.5 million pesos for breaking the Asian record. I know that you've also been given a cash award for resetting the Philippine record. Your reaction to the recognition now being given to you by the Philippine Sports Commission, especially with the cash incentives that you athletes are now being given?
I mean, it's huge. I'm very thankful for having this. Of course, it helps me a lot to be able to handle the expenses that I'm handling at the moment. So, and at the same time, finally, maybe some well-deserved vacation. Some things to just kind of let my mind off the track and be able to kind of live as a normal person. Of course, there's always that balance. So I'm very thankful for the PSC. They've been talking to me, checking me out. They even send me congratulatory messages, even the POC. So I'm very thankful for them for supporting me in my ventures, and this me representing the Philippines, trusting me with the flag, and representing it with pride and honor.
Well, talking about living a normal life, of course, many people miss you here. I know that you are now on break. You are in Italy and you are taking a little bit of a vacation. How is your girlfriend, and how is this vacation coming along? Are you taking this time out to really relax and enjoy each other's company?
Yeah, a little bit, but with COVID and my responsibility as an athlete doesn't stop. So really want to take it I just want to say, okay, I'm gonna shut off my phone and not answer anyone. It's not possible. So first, I still have to commit to the anti-doping, that I need to give them my address where I'm at. They should be making sure that I'm actually accessible for them, and then of course communicate with PSC, work around all this funding requests, and of course work with my mother organization, set everything right, and it's okay. But I'm very happy to not be going to the track nine hours a day and spend most of my time there. I'm very happy I'm here right now in Verona with my girlfriend. So she's the one who planned the vacation. So I'm just basically enjoying it. So
I'll be
I'm
a little
happy.
naughty here. Are we hearing any marriage plans?
Oh no, that's a long. That's too far.
Okay. I'll let you off the hook first, especially since hindi naman niya tayo naiintindihan. All right. Let me ask you a final question here, EJ. You know, obviously, at the end of the day, at the end of your career, you still want to go back to the Olympics, and you probably will again in 2024. When you do, what will be the things that you feel you can avoid, feel that you can do, things that you will change the next time you meet that pole and that bar once again?
There's a lot of things of course I wanted to do. That's what I think that's the first thing I did right after Tokyo. I had a talk with Mr. Capistrano right away. I was like, there was a lot of things that weren't in my control, and I said like there was a lot of things that went, let's just say, not the best possible way, and these are the things I really want to avoid. So I set out to be here because I wanted to win. If I just set out to be there and just be present, just be there in Olympics and call myself an Olympian, I said I could have not trained the next months, I could have not stressed about all of this competition. I could have sit out. Like I'm a qualified. I'm gonna be there one way or another. I said I stress about all these things because I know this is the best way that I'm gonna achieve what I set out to achieve. So there's a bunch of things I want to change, of course, like just how the things are run. Of course, hopefully that there would not be any hiccups anymore when it comes to budgets, and just getting the minimum kind of support that I would need. Of course, less stress about the polls. The good thing is Italy and France is literally drivable, so no stresses on flying the poles going into France, and hopefully I can get a new set of poles before that, whenever I would need to. So looking ahead, I would want to have my set of poles at least a season before, even better a year. Those kind of things. Just try to make it as smooth as possible and make my team be able to work as well as we can. The good thing now is I have my team. I trust them, and we're working together. So I think it's just going to get better from here on out.
Well, I think a lot of you Filipino athletes have found the formula, coming up with a complete team, just like Hayden did, just like you did, and I think everyone else. So we're really looking forward to a terrific Olympics in the next 3 years, and we're certainly looking forward to also seeing you more in competition when the season comes back. EJ, maraming salamat sa panahong binigay mo sa amin. Enjoy your vacation. Di ba na hindi kita isusumbong? Basta enjoy your vacation, and we will keep in touch with you. Maraming salamat, EJ.
Maraming salamat po, Kom Noli.
Yan po mga kaibigan ng ating panayam kay EJ Obiena, ang ating champion pole vaulter, the new Asian records holder, and of course, number 5 ranked in the world. Maraming salamat sa iyong pagtitiwala, EJ, an exclusive and extensive interview sa Power and Play. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, silip muna tayo sa ating pop culture at mga viral videos sa sports online dito po sa ating Stop and Pop. Ating video ay tungkol sa pusa. Marami na nakapanood ito, pero nakakatuwa kung saan-saan napupunta ang mga pusa. Sa pagkakataong ito, may isang muning na naligaw at lumambitin. Sa upper deck ng isang stadium sa Florida. Meron pong laban dyan, ha? Matindi ang suspense habang pinapanood ng daan-daan ng crowd at yun, nalaglag yung pusa. Buti na lang, may mga sumalo na mabibilis at mabilis mag-isip at gumamit ng pandila para masalo ang pusa. Palakpakan sila lahat. At talaga naman yung mga, isa pang anggulo meron umahab yung mama, gustong abutin yung pusa pero hindi na nakuha at nalaglag si Muning. Nakaligtas naman si Muning at syempre sigawan ng crowd. Yan po ang ating Stop and Pop moment dito sa Power and Play. We'll be back. Sa amin pong pagbabalik, makikita natin at makakasausap naman natin ang inyong paboritong Gilas guard, si Dwight Ramos sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo.
Alex. Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart ako.
Naimbag na bigat sa ating po mga kaibigan sa Ordaneta, Pangasinan. Welcome back to Power and Play. Of course, kinakamusta ko rin nga pala ang aking kaibigan si Vincent Abella ng isang happy birthday, partner. Balikan muna natin ang ating best moments sa kasaysayan ng palakasan this week in sports history. July 14, 1947 o 74 years ago, nakuha ni Jackie Robinson ang inaugural Rookie of the Year Award ng Major League Baseball. Kasabay ito ng kanyang historic at landmark rookie year bilang unang African-American player na naglaro sa MLB sa modern era. Naglaro siya ng 151 games para sa nooy Brooklyn Dodgers na may batting average na .297, 175 total hits, 12 home runs at 48 runs. Lingid sa kalaman ni Robinson, sa kanya na ipapangalan ang Rookie of the Year Award pagkalipas ng 40 taon. Jackie Robinson wins the inaugural MLB Rookie of the Year Award this week in sports history. And talking about rookies, well, he would have been, ang ating po susunod na mga kausap, ay dapat magiging rookie sa UAAP. But instead, he is on his way to Japan to play in the Japan B.League. Siya na po ang pangwalong sasabak sa bansang Hapon para po lumaban sa kanyang koponan na Toyama Grouses. Ang ating pong next interview is truly an interesting one with Gilas ace guard and former Ateneo Blue Eagle, now Tokyo-bound, si Dwight Ramos, dito po sa Power and Play. And of course, the latest flavor of the Japan B.League from the Philippines himself, no other than Dwight Ramos. Good to see you, Dwight. Thank you for joining us on Power and Play.
Thanks, Kom Noli. Pleasure to be here.
You know, it's an exciting time for you with the decision that you are going to the B.League. And I know that you have given a lot of interviews about this. But before I get to that, you are still in the Philippines, right, Dwight? And you're preparing to leave?
Yeah, I'm still here. Hoping I can leave next week, but just fixing up the last steps of the papers, and I can fly out pretty soon.
All right. And have you been to Japan before?
No, it's gonna be my first time. First time
Oh
there.
my goodness! Oh my goodness! So exciting! So exciting! I hope you're the same thing I told Bobby Ray when I spoke to him, to Kiefer, and to 30. I hope you're brushing up on your Nihongo, even a little bit.
I gotta
But
learn.
you like
some.
Japanese food, right? Right?
I love it.
All right. No, that's good. You know, the decision to move over to the B.League, as you said in some of your interviews, is about the pandemic, basically. But walk us through the events that led to that decision, Dwight. What, who talked to you, and how did you get to that point where you finally decided? When was this? When you were first offered?
I think the offer came after the Clark window, and at that point, I wasn't really thinking too much about it because I was focused on the Asia Cup coming up. But as soon as that got canceled, it kind of shifted my thinking and everything. So I was thinking about how unstable basketball kind of is in the Philippines right now, and so I had to look for another option that I could keep playing, and that's when I started to really look into this B.League team and see what they're all about.
So, are you saying that it was you who actually actively searched for them, or was there an offer even before you started looking and asking around?
Oh yeah, they came with the offer, but I didn't really research too much into their team or any of that just yet. That's kind of what I was doing after.
All right. So, how well thought of is this decision, Dwight? This is not knee jerk. I mean, did you consult many people before you made this decision?
Yeah, I talked to the coaches. I talked to my agent PJ. Yeah, I talked to a lot of the people at Ateneo. I talked to Boss Al, Boss MVP, and I just let them know like the situation and what I was thinking, and they sort of gave me their advice and their tips on what they thought I should do. But ultimately, it just came down to what I decided and what I felt inside my heart to.
Did you get to talk to the Ateneo admin, to the priests, to the Jesuit priests, to the president? Was there any resistance from the Ateneo?
Oh, of course, Ateneo wanted me to stay, because I came here to play for Ateneo. That was my ultimate. That's my first. Exactly. That was my priority in coming to the Philippines. And so, of course, they wanted me to stay, but they really understand like the situation here and how I was feeling, and I'm not getting any younger, so I'll be probably the oldest one in college by then if I play in the
But honestly, when you came here from Cal State Fullerton back in 2018 and you did residency, this was farthest from your mind.
Yeah, I probably wasn't even thinking about that. At that point, I was probably thinking of, I was thinking of Ateneo, and I was thinking of Gilas, and then from there, I just see what came. And honestly, Japan was not even in my head at that point.
And clearly, the experiences that you've had with Gilas is a big factor in this, and of course, as you said, the pandemic. But you mentioned in an IG post, Dwight, that you really wanted to play for the blue and white, and clearly there was a lot of hype and hope that you brought to the team after Ateneo has won multiple titles. They were hoping to extend that streak with you around, and after your showing with Gilas, everyone was saying, just hand them the trophy. Is there some kind of frustration or even a tinge of doubt in your mind about leaving the school?
I don't have any doubts of leaving the school because I really think this step is going to help me in the future. But of course, I really wanted to play for Ateneo because it it's been so long. I was waiting so long for that. I really wanted to play with my brother there, and share that whole Ateneo experience, the UAP experience. And every time I thought the season was going to happen, something happens, and it gets postponed again. So I really think that I made the right decision here.
All right. Well, obviously, many of the Ateneans would have wanted to see you in the basketball court in the UAAP, and they never did. And so, you also never felt real UAAP action out in the court. What will you remember first, the most in your time with the Ateneo? And secondly, what do you think will you miss most now that you are leaving the program?
For sure, the thing that I remember the most is the residency days where me and my brother would practice with Team B, and then right after that, the Team A practice was after that, and then so it was just really like the whole night we were practicing. We were so tired, and we would just walk back to the condo. So really, like those little moments like that, just working, practicing together, it's really going to stick with me my whole life here at Ateneo.
Do you think, and honestly here, Dwight, do you think that your team with Ange Kwame, SJ Belangel, and all of the veterans, even Rafi Verano's coming back, and all of the young guys, do you think that team would have been formidable in the UAAP?
To be honest, in my opinion, I think we would have won for sure. But even without me, the team is really strong. They have a lot of new guys. The people that have been waiting to play, everybody's just been working hard. So I think even without me, the team's going to be super strong too. So I'm excited to watch them too. Watch them when the season finally starts.
Absolutely, and and of course, a big part of that is Tab Baldwin, and I'm sure you talked to Coach Tab just before you made this decision. A lot of things have been written about that as well. But what was the most important advice that Tab gave you, when you decided to make this decision?
Coach Tab just he wanted to make sure that I'm still committed to play for the national team, and that my heart is there. And of course, without Gilas, none of these opportunities would have came to me. So, of course, my heart's always with the national team. As long as I'm playing basketball, I want to play for the national team and wear the Philippine colors again.
Mm-hmm. All right, you're very young. You're 23, and you've had some really tough decisions in your career to this point, Dwight. You were in the NCAA Division I with Cal State Fullerton up to 2018, and you were recruited by Coach Tab to come over to the Philippines to play for the Ateneo. And you came over, did your residency, and then the pandemic hit. And you had an opportunity to turn pro in the PBA. You were eligible to be drafted. You decided you wanted to stay one more year, hoping you can play with your brother. And it did not happen. And now that you have 2 more years of eligibility for Ateneo, and you may be playing next year, here comes the offer and you go to Japan. Sort of a coincidence, all of these decisions in your young career. Do you think that there are some things that you're not getting right in all of these unusual and series of coincidences in your life?
Yeah, I know. I'm a real journeyman. I've been around. I've been in a lot of places, but I never. Every time I make a decision, I never think twice. If I choose to leave the school, then I take whatever I learned from that old school, bring it to the next school. Then whatever I learned from there, I'll bring it to the next place. And so I think that all these destinations that I've had, they kind of added on to myself as a person, and also to myself, like, on the basketball court, skills-wise, mentally. I think everything's sort of helped me develop down the line.
All right, let's go to the B.League. You've made that decision, and the Toyama Grouses will be your team in the B.League. The question is, you could have turned pro in the PBA. Why the B.League instead of the PBA? Right.
I just think that the basketball scene in Japan is a little more stable right now compared to the Philippines and the PBA. It's really hard here with the situation. You never know when you can practice, where you can play games. So I think that going to Japan right now is just more stable for me.
Did you get any other offers outside of the Toyama Grousers?
I believe there were more, but that's sort of the only team that I kind of heard with PJ from, because I think there were some from Taiwan, maybe a couple more in Japan, but Toyama was one of the highest. They were in the playoffs last year, and that's kind of what I was looking for. So I could play in the playoffs with the professional team, and hopefully make a championship run with them. And that's kind of ultimately why I was looking at that team.
Was it an easy decision to choose the Toyama Grousers?
It was pretty easy. When I met with the GM and all their staff there with the Zoom meeting, they were really, really friendly and welcoming, and they really seemed like nice people. And so I think that's why I felt really at ease making that decision.
All right. And what are you most looking forward to playing in the B.League? And of course, living in Japan for the next couple of months. What is that little thing that excites you the most?
For sure, I'm excited to play against all our Filipinos over there. Every game, every game against them, I'm going to be super excited to get out there with them. Most of them I haven't really played too much with. Aside from 30, I practiced with him. I barely played with him in a couple of Gilas games, but aside from that, we're all pretty relatively new, and I'm just looking to play against them, have fun out there, and hopefully get to the championship with Toyama.
You've said that much of the reason for moving over there is because of the pandemic. Of course, that's the reason also why you've decided to turn pro. But let me ask you a very sensitive question. Outside of that, in choosing the B.League, was it about the package that you received that ultimately, tilted the decision in its favor?
A little bit. I think right now the Japan League is on the rise, and obviously they're kind of paying a little bit more than other countries, and that's kind of what a lot of people are looking at. But yeah, for me, it really wasn't all about that, because I'm kind of relatively new to the Philippine basketball scene, and I'm looking to sort of establish my name here, and hopefully with that, it will help me with Gilas, and in the future maybe more opportunities will come to me, whether it's Japan or anywhere else. After a year, I'm going to see what happens with me, and from there I'll make another decision from there.
All right. Well, and now you will be playing in a foreign land, and you will be playing as an Asian import. I mean, you understand the responsibilities behind playing as an import. We've seen that in the local league, in the PBA, in many other places. Ange Kwame gets that all the time as an import, as a naturalized player. Are you ready to take on that responsibility of an import playing in Japan?
Definitely. I've been working out a lot. I definitely know what comes with being an import, and I've talked to a lot of guys, and I'm really motivated. I'm really excited to get over there and get to work.
Have you been told specifically by your coach of the role that they will want you to play for them?
Yeah, we asked before signing with them what my role would be on the team, and they lost a couple guys that would be in my position. They lost to another teams, so I'm coming in to sort of fill that role and almost play the same way as I would with Gilas.
All right, and that will be at the backcourt and taking care of more or less running the team.
Yeah, similar to that.
All right. Well, that's something that we'd also like to see because obviously a big point guard for Gilas like yourself, and I know Coach Tab has been molding you towards that, and that certainly will be a big help for the national cause. How much of your playing with Gilas do you think has prepared you for this with this stint in the Japan B.League?
A lot of it. I mean, since the practices in before the Bahrain bubble, all the bubbles practicing, and then finally getting to the games, playing against Korea, Indonesia, and then I didn't get to play in the OQTs, but just being there, kind of learned by watching there. And then we played in Jordan, and in Jordan was a really good experience too. So I think Gilas really prepared me for this, and I'm really grateful for Gilas for that. And I got this feeling of playing for Gilas that I can't let go of. So that's why I always want to play for Gilas now.
Mm-hmm. And I hope that's part of your contract with Toyama that that you will have that window every time Gilas knocks on your door.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, playing in the B.League in another league outside of the Philippines is obviously a big opportunity, but it's also a great learning experience for you. What do you hope to achieve by playing in Japan? Like what specific goals have you set for yourself that will more or less define how your stint will be there with the Toyama Grouses?
For me, I'm really looking to improve as a player. I'm playing a lot of games. There are 60 plus games. I'm going to be practicing every day. Whereas, if I was here, it's kind of I only practice maybe a month, take a break because of this bubble situation. Then the games are really not sure. So I think with the practice and playing experience against professionals, it'll really improve my game come the Asia Cup or the windows that are coming up. And hopefully I can come out with Gilas next year and, I'll come out a better player than I was this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are a complete package, and everybody's seen that, glimpses of that, at least. Dwight, we really haven't seen the whole package, and I know Coach Tab has been, raving about your skills, and obviously Filipino fans will have to wait for that. In that sense, how long do you plan to play outside of the Philippines? And is there, a plan to extend this, or even go to another country to play again? How long will you be away?
I really don't know with that one. Usually I take it a year at a time. Me, I'm the journeyman. So after this year, I'll reevaluate, see what options I have coming in, and then I'll make a decision again when the time comes.
There is a draft dodger rule in the PBA, and I guess you've heard about this. The rule that you have to apply for the draft within a certain number of years from the time you became eligible for the PBA draft. And in your case, there are conflicting analysis of when you were or are eligible. Some say it's 2023, some say it's even later. But are you even concerned about the draft dodger rule with this decision, Dwight?
I'm not too familiar with the draft dodger rule, but it's I didn't really think too much about that when I was making the decision or anything. I was just sort of looking at what's the best place for me right now to improve, and I think it's in Japan for now. But of course, I always wanted to play in the PBA, and just like the locals in Japan, they want to stay in Japan, play there. But I think the same thing goes for us Filipinos, and so we're just hoping that the opportunity comes again, and after we're all done with our stints overseas, that we could come back and play in the PBA.
Given that, given the whole scenario to that draft dodger rule, and obviously the dreams of many young people like you to play abroad and get better, get more games, get more competition. What can you say about that? I mean, let's not talk about the rule itself, but this opportunity given to many Filipinos now to play elsewhere, is that something that you support?
Yeah, I really support that because basketball was meant to take you places, and if you have the opportunity to go live in another country, experience life in another country, then why not just take it? So I think it just depends on what people are looking for in their lives. Some people want to stay close to their families, so maybe they would go to the PBA right away. But if someone's looking to experience life in another country, then why not explore options outside, and then hopefully they can come back to the PBA.
And with that, let me ask you. You said that it was your dream. It is your dream to still play in the PBA. Do you think that is an itch that you will start scratching sooner than later, or you're just gonna take your time and just weigh your options as much as you can until the time when you have to actually make that decision?
Yeah, for now, my mind is on this next season coming up for me because that's obviously what's next. But then after the season, that's when I'll start thinking about what's going to happen for me after that, and whether that's the PBA or if it's in another league, then I'll just have to weigh my options there again.
On a personal note, I guess you will be living alone in Japan. Are you looking forward to that? Are you used to that, and are you learning things that you will be needing when you start living in Japan, Dwight?
Yeah, I'm sort of used to it already. When I started college in the States, I moved out of the house. I lived around the school. Even though it was nearby, I still lived by the campus. Then I came to the Philippines, me and my brother, and we lived here by ourselves. So it's kind of something I'm already used to. So I'm not too worried about living in Japan, but I'm excited to see the life over there. I heard it's a lot of good food, a lot of good seafood there, so I'm looking forward to as well.
Well, I'm sure they're looking forward to seeing you as well. And I guess as a final question here, Dwight, are you happy with the decision that you have made? I ran through a lot of your decisions, your tough decisions in your career so early in your young life, and obviously you'll be making more, but at least for this one, is there peace, is there satisfaction to what you have done?
Yeah, I wouldn't have made the decision if I wasn't completely sure. So that's why I was sure of it when I wanted to go through with the decision, with the signing. And so I'm really happy. I'm excited, and I'm really excited to see where this takes me.
Well, we're certainly hoping all the best for you, Dwight, and of course, everyone's looking forward to you still donning the Philippine colors, especially in 2023. Dwight, thank you so much for joining us today in Power and Play, and we wish you all the best. And keep in touch. Let us know what happens out there.
Of course. Thanks, Kom Noli. See you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Yan po mga kaibigan, ang papunta na ng Japan sa Toyama Prefecture, yung pong Toyama Grouses, si Dwight Ramos ng Gilas, Pilipinas. Ex-Ateneo na siya ngayon. Maraming salamat nga pala kay Ma'am Yvette Ruiz for making that interview possible. And of course, maraming salamat kay Dwight Ramos. A big shout out also kay Manel Mojica all the way from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Nanonood po sa atin ngayon sa pamamagitan ng ating Facebook live streaming. Alright, hindi pa po tayo tapos sa Power and Play. Tuloy-tuloy ang ating impormasyon at ang ating panayam. Ang ating pong susunod na makakausap ay ating pong itatampok sa ating In the Spotlight. Sa September 24 po, next week na yan, malapit na, lalaban po ang ating kababayang si Joshua Pacio, ang champion ng mundo sa strawweight division ng One Championship. At siya po ay, ang kanyang mga kalaban ay si Yosuke Saruta in a third matchup niya kay Saruta. Siya po ay ating inabutan kamakailan at kasama po niya ang Team Lakay founder mismo, si Coach Mark Sangiao sa ating panayam dito po sa Power and Play. At kagaya po ng ating ipinangako, kasama natin ngayon mga halige ng Team Lakay, ang pinagmamalaki ng Pilipinas sa One Championship. Walang iba kundi ang Strawweight champion ng One Championship, si Joshua Pacio, at ang founder ng Team Lakay. Walang iba kundi yung big boss, si Coach Mark Sangiao. Magandang araw sa inyong dalawa, Coach Mark at Joshua.
Magandang araw po, Kong, at sa mga lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon.
Yun, magandang araw din po sa ating lahat.
Yun, alam mo, maraming excited na dahil alam natin may labang ka, Joshua, sa September 24. Pero bago tayo pumunta dyan, gusto ko munang puntahan si Coach Mark. Coach Mark, ikaw ang naging founder ng Team Lakay at napakadami mo ng naturuan, na-produce ng mga kampiyon, and of course, nandyan ngayon si Joshua, ang natitirang kaisa-isang kampiyon natin sa One Championship, sa MMA, no? Nung bang tinatag mo yung Team Lakay, Coach Mark, yan ba ang naging pangarap mo? Sa tingin mo na ba nung araw pa ganitong kalaki lalabas yung Team Lakay na tinatag mo?
Nung una, hindi natin alam Ang nagsimula lang to parang laro lang. Parang kami magkakaibigan, ganyan, nagtitraining lang. Tapos, naging passion ko lang din na nagtuturo sa gym. Pero dati, nagtuturo ako sa kwan lang. Nagtitraining kami sa oval, ganyan. Hanggang meron kaming kinuha na per hour na lang yung kuha namin doon sa gym. So, ayun, nagsimula kami doon. Tapos, kaya Team Lakay ang tawag kasi sa literal, lakay kasi parang matandang lalaki. Pero naging uso rin na tawagan dito sa North, parang tall, lakay, parang bro or kapatid, ganyan. So, Team Lakay, team ng mga magkakaibigan o magkakapatid, mga ganyan. So, doon nag-start.
Gaano ka satisfying, Coach Mark, itong napakarami mo na nakitang dumaan sa'yo, dumaan sa Team Lakay. At ngayon, makikita natin si Joshua nalalaban na naman sa isang World Championship. Gaano ka satisfying para sa'yo yan?
Very, very satisfying. Tsaka nakaka-proud. Kahit na hindi ko alam na ganito yung magiging resulta May mga naging champion na tayo, sa international, at andito yung isang champion natin, si Joshua. So yun yung hindi ko ma-explain yung feeling din. At meron tayo ngayon dito. At lalong-lalo na nire-represent natin ang ating bansa.
Exactly. At talaga na dapat magpasalamat ang napakaraming tao sa iyo, Coach Mark, at sa buong hanay ng Team Lakay because napakaraming karangalan na naibigay niyo sa amin. Including ngayon itong ating bata, si Joshua, the Passion Pacio. Ayan, nakompleto Joshua. Alright. Joshua, sa wakas, matutuloy na ang iyong trilogy kay Yosuke Saruta. Na dati mo nang nakalaban, tinalo ka nung una, tapos tinalo mo nung pangalawa, at ito na ang inyong ikatlong laban. Title mo ang nakasalalay dito. Anong sa tingin mo? Tingin mo ba ngayon mas magaling kang fighter kaysa nung sa una mong dalawang laban?
Of course, syempre po kasi yun nga, confident tayo Every laban naman yun yung importante. Pumasok ka sa laban na confident ka. So, confident tayo ngayon na and still na magiging kampiyon, and of course confident ako sa team ko, and of course sa coaches ko, kay Coach Mark, and yung mga skill na tinuro nila, confident ako. Yung training namin, confident ako na mananalo tayo.
Alam mo, your record is impressive. 20 matches, 20 fights, 17 wins. 3 lamang ang talo mo. And of course, against Saruta, last time, natalo mo ng very convincing. maliban sa titulo, ano pa ang kailangan mong sa tingin mo patunayan dito sa laban na to? Kaya mo tinanggap itong ikatlong laban o itong trilogy ni The Ninja sa ruta?
Trilogy para matapos na, no? Pero gumawa kasi ng one championship ng rankings, and si Yusuke Saruta ang number 1 contender. So, kung siya yung number 1 contender, then deserve niya akong makalaban. So, yun. And of course, exciting din kasi trilogy. Nakita ko yung improvement niya sa mga past na laban niya. And of course, nag-improve din tayo ng malaki, and yun ang isi-showcase natin next week.
Coach Mark, ang huling laban ni Joshua was against Alex Silva, if I'm not mistaken, January of 2020. So halos magdadalawang taon na, ika nga, no? Kung itong laban niya ngayon sa September 24. Are you concerned na medyo kalawang yung kulang sa laban? Is that a concern coming into this fight laban kay Saruta?
Sa akin, sa coach, hindi naman. Kasi yun ang maganda kasi yung teamwork namin. Tapos marami rin siyang mga ka-training na mga like yung mga champion din natin, tapos yung mga ka-teammate niya. So, nahihila isa't isa, hindi sila nag-stop. And ang maganda sa kanila and kay Joshua is yung attitude niya sa training. Napakasipag yung champion natin si Joshua. So, wala kang sa akin observation ko, wala akong nakikitang kalawang sa kanya since nagti-training naman siya araw-araw, and meron siyang mga ka-sparring din na malalakas dito. So, yun, yung sabi niya nga, confident tayo sa preparation natin sa kanya.
Joshua, yung huli mong laban, wala pang pandemya. And alam naman natin, after that, talagang na-lockdown na tayo ng tuluyan hanggang ngayon. Tayo ay hindi pa masyadong makagalaw. Kamusta ang paghahanda mo in the midst of the pandemic? Are you happy with your preparation with about a week, a little over a week bago sa laban mo?
Opo. And as a martial artist, no, kailangan mong mag-adapt sa lahat ng situation, no, kahit na ganitong pandemic. And of course, you find time to train kasi ito na yung buhay mo, martial arts. So you find time to train kahit nung last year mahirap. Then hanggang ngayon na 2021, yun, we're blessed na nakaka-training na kami sa outdoor and of course sa gym. And yun nga, parang bumabalik na sa dati. So, hindi lang sa mahirap, pero mahirap yung situation na kahit sa Singapore. So, nagtatanong rin ako sa mga teammates ko na lumaban na kung ano na yung style, paano ganun. So, hindi na tayong mabibigla pag nandun na tayo. So, we can adjust.
Bigyan mo nga kami ng ideya. Ano ba ang ginagawa ninyo araw-araw sa inyong paghahanda? And then of course, how are you building up patungo dito sa laban mo sa Singapore?
Dito sa fight camp na to, nag-focus kami sa more on drills ng techniques, and of course, we're not just concentrating on yung takedown defense at grappling defense. No, we're concentrating sa offense din sa lahat. So magiging well-rounded athlete kami. And of course, yung strength and conditioning natin nandyan, yung cardio natin nandyan, yung training. So we train twice a day, and umaga and then hapon.
Okay. Coach Mark, very familiar kayo kay Yusuke Saruta dahil nakakalaban na nga ni Joshua ng 2 beses. Meron bang bagong ilalabas tayo without revealing? Baka nanonood sila pero Tagalogin natin para hindi nila maintindihan. Pero meron bang bagong ilalabas ang ating batang si Joshua? Ano ang bagong game plan na sa tingin mo ay gagamitin ninyo? At paano mo nakikita itong laban na to?
Yung nakikita natin yung mga strong side ni Saruta. So yun yung develop din natin para yun yung gamitin sa kanya. Minsan kasi yung mga atleta or sabihin natin mga opponent natin, minsan yung strong side nila hindi rin nila alam pala yung counter niya. So andyan na, alam nila na striker tayo, it will end in striking or ganyan, pero baka hindi nila alam, tatapusin na naman ulit ni Joshua. Kunin niya ng the passion lock.
so talaga gagamitan ng passion, ng passion. The last time na naglabang kayo, it was a 4th round knockout na panalo ninyo, na ginamit mo yung tuhod mo, Joshua, no? Kaya na knockout si Saruta. Meron ka bang bagong inihanda na mga estilo? Are you concentrating on striking, ground and pound? Ano ang bagong gagawin mo ngayon?
Since this is MMA po, mixed martial arts, no, hindi po tayo naghahanap ng knockout or submission. Kung nandun ka na sa laban at may opportunity, then we grab that opportunity. Pero ngayon po, nakakonsentrate ako sa game plan namin. Of course, the game plan is to win and to dominate every round. Yun po.
Well, that's a pretty easy game plan na matandaan to win and to dominate. Yan naman talaga ang inaasahan, I'm sure, ni Coach Mark at ng lahat ng ating mga kababayan na manonood sa iyo. Coach Mark, let me ask you. Alam mo, meron silang tinatawag na Team Lakay Curse daw dun sa mga trilogy. Kasi pag nagti-trilogy daw, parang minsan inaalat. Ito ba mga ganitong pamahiin pinapansin niyo pa?
Sa atin naman, basta nag-prepare tayo ng gusto. Andyan, maganda yung physically, mentally, lahat prepare, spiritually prepared si Joshua. Hindi natin binibigyan ng kaulugan yung mga curse. And sa atin, basta ginawa natin yung part natin, ayun, tapos plus the confidence, punta tayo doon, praying, hoping that we'll be going home again, that the belt.
You know, very interesting ang culture na binubuo ninyo dun sa Team Lakay. I've seen ang dami-dami ninyong mga fighters na hindi lamang magagaling, but they're also very well-grounded. A lot of them are very well-educated. And I know si Joshua is a nag-college ka, di ba, sa Baguio, Joshua? No? So, you know, it seems like it's a very interesting culture na binibuild mo dyan, Coach Mark. Ano ba ang filosofiya mo dyan sa Team Lakay?
Sa akin kasi, yung martial arts din, naging scholar ako dati. Kaya ako natapos yung pag-aaral ko. And doon mismo sa school dati, nag-coach din ako doon. Senior ko doon. And ang daming sa history natin, ang dami rin yung mga kawawan ng mga legends natin dati. And we want to change yung mga image na yon. And ito, yung kaya ginagawa natin, isang requirement natin dyan, dapat makapagtapos sila sa pag-aaral. Ayun.
Wow, very good philosophy. Napakaganda ng paghahanda and training. Of course, lagi may fallback, ika nga ang mga fighters.
Yes.
Dahil hindi naman panghabang buhay na lumalaban na lamang dun sa
Yes, sir.
sa circle, no? Joshua, we understand na ikaw ay nagkaroon ng COVID case recently at ikaw ay naka-recover. Totoo ba yan? And ito ba ay naka-epekto sa paghahanda mo?
Nung March po yun na natamaan tayo. Pero sinigurado naman po natin na fully recover tayo bago tayo pumasok sa training camp. And yun po yung very important, yung titignan natin na very healthy tayo bago tayo pumasok sa training camp and tumanggap ng laban. So we're healthy.
Are you concerned about, alam mo, marami ng mga atleta, mga boksingero, mga Olympian na saka dulu-duluhan, last minute, tatamaan ng COVID at nawawala yung pag-asa na makapaglaro o lumaban, no? are you concerned about this going to Singapore? Paano ang pag-iingat na ginagawa mo ngayon and pagdating niyo sa Singapore?
Ayun, syempre po 100% na maingat tayo ngayon. And of course, 100% din na mas healthy tayo kasi mas malakas na yung antibodies natin ngayon eh. So, maanas tayo. So, tsaka fully vaccinated naman po tayo ngayon.
Okay, so ang ibig sabihin nun, Coach Mark, yung nasa loob ng fight camp ninyo, puro mga lagi yung sinisiguradong hindi damay sa ating mga manlalaban, lalo-lalo na dito kay Joshua nalalaban sa World Championship.
Ayan, kaya halos lahat ng mga atleta natin pinavaksin natin. Tapos sinusunod naman natin yung mga protocols. Pero hindi natin sure kasi nag-mutate niya, ang bilis. Ang bilis niya, nag-mutate pa siya. So, ayun lang, ginagawa natin yung hanggat kaya natin, hindi naman natin masabi kasi hindi natin nakikita si COVID. So, praying and doing our best na dapat wala sanang ma-infect sa COVID bago kami bago and pagkatapos ng laban.
You know, para sa inyong dalawa, obviously, we're praying for you. Sana nga walang mangyari at sana matiwasay na mairaos natin itong laban na to na nasa loob ng circle rather than sa labas tayo natalo ng COVID-19. Well, medyo naubusan po tayo ng oras sa ating interview, although patapos na naman po yung interview ni Joshua Pacio, ang ating kampiyon sa strawweight division ng One Championship, na siyang didepensa ng kanyang titulo against Yusuke Saruta sa September 24 sa Singapore Indoor Stadium. Good luck kay Joshua and of course kay Coach Mark Sangiao. Maraming salamat nga pala kay Tita Tessa Hasmines na nag-ayos nitong interview ito. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Tessa, for all the support. Bago tayo magtapos, gusto ko lang pong basahin ng ilan sa mga sumagot doon sa ating Pulso ng Bayan. Sino ang sa mga Pinoy basketball players ang may potential pang sumunod sa Japan? Sabi ni Nardi Matrasto, paring Nardi, kamusta? Sabi niya, Big 6'8 Matthew Aquino, 6'7 Justin Aranya, 6'9 Justin Baltasar. Mula kay Chris Mariano, Abando, Cancino, Tamayo, Baltasar. Aba, marami Matthew Apurillo, sabi niya, RJ Abarientos, he is fun to watch and he has the ball, very entertaining. Mula kay James Sevilla, Justin Baltasar, Renz Abando. Mula naman kay Fobe, Michael Nuda, Jordan Heading. Aba, si Reniel, sabi rin si Richie Rivero, si Erwin Legaspi, SJ Belangel. Mauubos ang player pag nakaalisan lahat yan. Sabi naman ni Brian Jed Lapitan, Richie Rivero. Pwede rin, di ba? And of course, si Joseph Estrada. Si Presidente kaya to. Joseph Estrada sabi po, balik sistema. Hindi, wag naman. Masama daw ang sistema, kaya asahan marami pang PBA players na makikipagsapalaran sa Japan. Alam niyo po, marami ng opportunity. Wag po tayong magalit. Of course, ang PBA needs to improve. But dumadami ng pagkakataon. So let's be happy for all of our basketball players. And let's hope na ang PBA, nababasa naman natin, meron daw silang gagawin. Abangan natin kung anong gagawin ng PBA, lalong-lalo na sa kanilang rules tungkol sa Phil Foreigners. Alright, diyan po nagtatapos ang ating programa ngayong Sabado ng umaga dito po sa Power and Play. Again, nagpapasalamat po kami sa lahat, sa inyo, na patuloy na sumusubaybay sa ating palatuntunan. Ingat-ingat po mataas pa rin ang kaso, although alert level 4, nakakalabas na tayo, konting hinga. Kung may pagkakataon, huminga tayo sa labas, bakit hindi? Pero mag-ingat pa rin po tayo. Mask, hugas ng kamay, social distancing. Ako po si Noli Eala, nagpapasalamat sa inyo at nagpapaalala tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Marami po salamat. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid. More power, more play.
Welcome to the Gigalife. passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.